As you may have noticed already, we are honored by the presence of two other CardRunners pros at the tables, Andreas Skjervoy and Benjamin Foldngst8n. I decided I'm not going to go into my HUD in detail, I'll just refer to it as needed. So I think we're ready to hit play and roll the tape. We get a nice suited ace to defend our button with on table 2. The pair of 10s not entirely without value either. Get a decent flop with the nut flush draw. Also some blockers to the straight draws. The PFR checks to us out of position, heads up on a fairly dynamic flop, which is definitely unorthodox. Regardless, it's a fairly obvious stab, given our nice draw. The villain check calls our stab, and the turn brings the club draw. At this point, I'm putting him on some weak made hands and potentially some weak drawing hands with backdoor clubs. There's always a chance he's trapping us with a monster such as King Jack 10 with lower diamonds, but without more specific reads, I think it's a fairly obvious barrel. Now that there's a second flush draw on the board, we should be going slightly bigger. Yep. And we get peeled again out of position. I'd say we can comfortably assume that if villain was trapping on the flop, he would have sprang that trap on the turn. He might have some weak kings in his range that potentially improve to 2-pair, but regardless, going for a large barrel with our blockers is a pretty solid play in my opinion. Meanwhile, on table 1, we open our ace, queen, queen, x suited to the ace on the effective cutoff, 5-handed. A reg 3-bets the button. I think it's a pretty standard 4-bet. We get called by top pair, top kicker on table 2. I find his flop and turn line somewhat strange. He does get value from my weak stabs, but given how wet the board is, it's hard for me to have air, and most of my hands have a decent chunk of equity against him. This line also gives him 0 visibility on the strength of my hand. I actually don't mind his river call, as he has a blocker to the nuts and we're ripping a fairly thin range, but I definitely think the line he chose is not optimal. Table 1 is a relatively trivial c-bet, get it in. Villain is the favorite with top 2 and open-ender, but not by a huge margin. We get another okay hand under the gun. I also decided that I'm not gonna go into the labeling in this video. I can reveal that purple means fish. I'll let you guys figure out the other ones on your own.